Bill Shorten has offered to pause campaigning and visit flood-damaged areas with the Prime Minister. Both leaders expressed bipartisan sympathy for storm victims. But within hours, the issue had become politicised, as National Affairs correspondent Greg Jennett explains.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
For a moment, sunshine and happiness shone through the gloom of darkened skies.
Take them, blow a great big kiss.
Two leaders came together to honour those who've served at war.
You know, those young men and women, they've got that RSL humming.
And to pay respects to those killed in the floods.
Our thoughts go to the families of those people who have been so calamitously affected.
I can express on behalf of both of us our condolences.
It didn't last.
Mr Shorten has got to decide whether he is on the side of the volunteers or on the side of the union.
SES volunteers are on the fringe of a brawl over union involvement in Victoria's country fire brigades.
Respect volunteers!
But they're right at the centre of Malcolm Turnbull's charge against industrial organisations.
He's lined up with the interests of the militant unions.
For now, Bill Shorten's lining up with families.
We are providing sensible support to approximately 300 centres.
He's put up another $100 million for childcare and after-school care, for a total package worth just over $3 billion.
We are supporting working parents and working mums in this country in terms of childcare.
Labor is making promises with money that simply isn't there.
The Coalition's rival childcare plan's been stalled by disputed savings in the Senate. But if the next Parliament sees its way clear to pass them, its package would be accelerated.
If we can start it earlier, then we will.
On childcare, as on so many policy fronts, the government's not contesting against Labor with any fresh counter-spending promises. Instead, it's investing in Brand Turnbull.
Well, most of my childhood I spent with my dad.
A Liberal social media ad tells of the journey from boyhood with Dad to the heights of high office.
It's important to honour your father.
Which doesn't imply dishonour to others.
Fathers rock, mothers are great, engineers rock, and girls can do anything.
Now's not the time to leave anyone out.
There you go, cheer up. Here we go.
Greg Jennett, ABC News, Canberra.
The RSL is celebrating 100 years of championing the rights of returned servicemen and women, but says its job is far from done. It maintains some veterans still aren't getting the support they deserve, and it's calling for urgent bipartisan action.
As World War I raged in Europe, on the other side of the world, the RSL was holding its first conference.
Australia in 1916 was a vastly different place. Veterans struggled to get help for their injuries and to return to civilian life.
From then to now, a century on, and conflicts of a different kind endure.
You must not wither.
The Governor-General opened this year's RSL conference in Melbourne. The focus is on the future, with the organisation calling for less emphasis on pensions and compensation, but more on care.
When a person leaves the Australian Defence Force, they metaphorically fall off a cliff, or some of them do.
The RSL wants bipartisan support for an overhaul of the veterans support system.
They have to then change from being looked after, as they have been throughout their defence service, by the medical service within Defence, to being looked after by medical practitioners in the general community. There is no continuity.
The proposal includes re-establishing a centre for military and veteran health, with a special emphasis on younger veterans.
There are major opportunities for developing a better understanding of their emerging health difficulties and how they can be better managed.
The RSL argues lifelong support is needed because physical and mental health problems can lie dormant for decades. The concept, at least, has allied support.
The Department of Veterans Affairs will continue to look after veterans.
We must do better. We must do more.
The RSL says extra support can't come soon enough. James Hancock, ABC News, Melbourne.